coming up later this week, on Thursday, to be exact, so that would be the 14th of March, there is going to be a hearing in Judge Cannon's courtroom. Jack Smith, special prosecutor on one side, Donald Trump and his lawyers on the other, and Judge Cannon, the Trump appointee, is going to, decide whether or not she's going to have the trial early summer, or if she's going to push it beyond the election, or she's going to decide if she's just going to throw the case out entirely, as Donald Trump's lawyers have asked her. But a week before that hearing this coming Thursday, so last Thursday, Jack Smith submitted a filing to Judge Cannon that completely and totally and legally dismantled every single claim that Donald Trump's lawyers have tried to make in trying to get this case thrown out. Here's what happened. Donald Trump's lawyers have submitted multiple different filings to Judge Cannon where they're asking her to throw it out on the basis of several different reasons. First and foremost, this is selective prosecution by the DOJ. Obviously, other people have had classified documents. They didn't get prosecuted. Our client is. Got to throw the case out, right? Because every single legal case in the world is identical, they're arguing. Smith destroyed that, and I'll tell you how in just a second. Secondly, they argue, hey, he's protected under the Presidential Records Act because these were his documents, right? Other presidents have had their documents, their diaries, their personal items. They've been allowed to keep them, so Trump was allowed to keep these. Therefore, the case is dismissed. Jack Smith brilliantly destroyed both of those arguments. The first one, while talking about the other people that Trump's like, well, they did it too and didn't get prosecuted. Smith had this to say. While each of them, to varying degrees, bears a slight resemblance to this case, none is alleged to have willfully retained a vast trove of highly sensitive, confidential materials and repeatedly sought to thwart their lawful return and engaged in a multifaceted scheme of deception and obstruction. There is no one who is similarly situated. He continued. Trump appears to contend that it was President Biden who actually made the decision to seek the charges in this case, that Biden did so solely for the unconstitutional reasons, and that this decision was somehow foisted on the special counsel through a newspaper article, a press conference, and an interview that each preceded the special counsel's appointment. That theory finds no support in evidence or logic. Indeed, the very sources Trump relies on undercut his claim. He then goes on to talk about the fact that Donald Trump has repeatedly said that he declassified these documents, which Smith, of course, says that actually didn't happen. There's no record of it, so it's not real. But he said, by Trump even admitting that he declassified these documents and took them, he said that alone shows us that he knows he wasn't supposed to have them. So the cases cannot be similar because Trump willfully did it, lied about it, of course, obstructed it, defied the subpoena and all that. So Smith just absolutely goes scorched earth against Trump. But that's not the end. There's also the argument, of course, the Presidential Records Act, right? Trump's lawyers tried to argue in one of their motions that, hey, Bill Clinton was allowed to keep tapes of interviews that he had conducted, that he had in his sock drawer, just audio tapes of interviews he had done. And they're like, yeah, you can keep those. Ronald Reagan had his personal diary that he got to keep because he wrote those. It's his little book he wrote in. So Clinton had his personal interviews that he personally recorded. Reagan had his personal diary. He's allowed to keep those. Why can't Trump keep these documents? Well, Smith had a great argument for that too. He said, Trump did not create them. They do not reflect his personal thoughts. They came into his possession only through his official duties, and except for one charged document, bear classification markings. They have no resemblance to diaries. He also makes mention of the fact that Donald Trump had these documents in an area where thousands of people come and go from every month. Whereas the other people that Trump likes to attack, they had them in pretty much secured facilities where there weren't randos walking in every now and then. You didn't have spies trying to infiltrate those places like we have had at Mar-a-Lago. So there is no comparison to any of these cases. If this were in front of any other judge in the country, this case would have already been over. Donald Trump would have already been convicted. Like, this trial would have been set and it would have been concluded by now. But Judge Cannon, I guarantee you this coming Thursday, she's going to do whatever she can. She will move heaven and earth themselves to do what Donald Trump wants her to do. This is the easiest case I have ever seen. And Jack Smith, with as good as he is, with as good as his legal arguments are, is somehow losing because there is a wholly corrupt judge intent on protecting Donald Trump in charge of it.